Hello everybody. Sorry I'm getting a really late start on my videos, and I do apologize if you hear my husband snoring as he tries to sleep and I do videos. I'll try to shake him when he snores. Anyway, I was somebody had asked about the Ymax and YMAG estimates, so I worked on that spreadsheet today. And then I started working on this because I've said before, if I end up having to get rid of one, because these things take hours to do, right? In the evening, we spend hours doing it. Rod even said he spent a few hours to do it for what he's doing. I think he said maybe 3 or so hours a night. And I know I'm at least doing that. Between those two videos, sometimes those could be an hour long. It just depends. I try not for it to be, but we're in the process of building a lot of stuff, right, and going through it and explaining and stuff. And then, of course, the more trades are, the more it takes, and the more I talk like this, the longer it is. So sorry about that. But I had said, should I have to choose one or the other? I was going to do it based off the likes. So then earlier I thought, well, let me go look at the like count to see where we are, because I am staying up every night until like 2 or so o'clock in the morning to get everything done. And I'm not like retired or anything. I know Max Convexity was retired, and then, of course, retire on dividends. He still has his day job, and then, of course, I still have my day job, plus I have my military job, my Army Reserve job, and then I have this unpaid job here. So this is just sort of like a hobby and fun and trying to figure things out and do it with all of you. So yeah, if I end up having to stop one of these and only do one a day, I'm going to do it off the likes. So if you look here, I just went ahead and put the likes, the number of likes on the past 5 day videos. So since I started ULTY, right? So we could compare the two. And it looks like ULTY's winning so far. The likes on the tabs are, on the tabs, on the videos are 60 to 80% versus the ones on our Yieldmax named ETFs, where I go through the 18 ETFs on their holdings and their trades. What's good about that is I can go through all of it and I do them together, the holdings and the trades for each ETF. So if you have like 5 ETFs, and you could just sort of, if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, which who has that kind of time, right? But then you can just fast forward to yours, specific sections. You might need to watch the beginning and maybe watch the end, depending on what I have going on the end. But so that's the benefit of my videos. You can just go to where you need to go. But at this very moment, it's looking like ULTY is the one that everybody is favoring. So I don't know. You see the last two Yieldmax named ETFs, they only got one got 5 likes and one got 7 likes. And just, that video and doing those sheets, you're talking at a minimum an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours a piece, just with the worksheets, and then actually doing then I compare stuff, see what changes are happening and everything, and then I have to do the video. Then I have to upload the videos to YouTube and everything. And then sometimes the bad thing is I've waited before and not waited till the video was done, and then I didn't find out till the next night that it posted as private. So it was there but not there all day. So anyway, I just wanted to show where we're at, and I think I'm going to track this for a little bit and make the decision on these. But then I was like trying to figure out what I've done so far, because I've been doing the holdings and trades. Then I ended up doing the weekly roundup this last week, which was my first one for the named ETFs. And then I was thinking about going over the ULTY prospectus and reading through that. I don't know if anybody wants to listen to that boring stuff, but I was thinking about doing a video to read through that, and then do maybe some, if anybody has any questions on how to do certain things with Excel or sheets, Google Sheets is what I mean, or formulas. And so that was another reason when I started to do this, I remembered that Max needed help with a formula. So me and him got on a call for about 30 or so minutes. And I guess with it being so late, I needed to really wrap my head around it. But anyway, in the end, we ended up coming up with the formulas needed to do what he needs to do, and then the data. And now he's just going to transfer that over to his sheet. But so I can, do some things in Excel and stuff like that as well. And then I do stuff for retire on dividends, or if other people ask, I just I usually try to figure it out and give them the information or whatever. But anyway, and then I did do the distribution comparison. So I did the distribution announcement, which was just saying, hey, here it is. I talked through it, but then it was a request for me to do another follow-up video to show the comparisons of all the other distributions and the averages and the rankings and stuff like that. So I did that, and the total return, like if it from inception, whatever its price was, and the dividends and where we were at that day. So that was in that video. And then I did do the distribution guesses. I did do that for the YMAX and YMAG last month. I think one of them was like within 0.0002 cents, I think. The other one was off. But the thing is with that I wasn't saving the data then. So I did not have the actual day of's data to do my estimates. So now that I've been doing these every day, I have all the data because I'm saving them every day. But anyway, so I don't know, about these. If if you just want to see the holdings, maybe on one of them, I think somebody mentioned that to just do the holdings on the Yieldmax and not actually go through the trades. But some people may actually want to see the trades so they can see the cost of those trades, and so that's why I do them back and forth. But you can tell me if you want to see one or the other or both. If you like those weekly roundups, like I said, if you want any of these things, or if there's something else that you would like for me to do or provide. Now, I will say right now, I am concentrating on Yieldmax. I can only, I'm still trying to learn this one, and there's no way I could learn any of the other ones out there. So right now, I'm concentrating on this and ULTY, and because Jay has been so gracious and we've been able to email back and forth, and then he's, offered to help me in a few ways and point me in some directions and everything else, that I am a loyal person, and I am grateful that he is trying to help me out. So most of my stuff will be geared towards Yieldmax. And I was going to do a live video this evening, which didn't happen. And then earlier when I was trying to do something with Max, I thought, well, maybe we could get on YouTube live to share or something. But then apparently when you do that, YouTube, when you ask to do live, you have to wait 24 hours before you can do it. So if I would have known that, I would have done it before now. But just to give you a heads up though, and I would like to say I already made the thumbnail for it. I did it yesterday, but I do want to do a live video. But it's not like really a Q&A for me exactly. But it's like, what questions? I don't even know. I was going to say maybe I could share it to over here. But what would you ask Jay? What do you want to ask Jay? If you could ask Jay anything, right? What would it be? So I have this. Let's hope I don't mess this up. Photos. This. I made this cool little thing, and so I figured I could put this out there, and then we just do a live video, and some of you, can put in anything that you're thinking of. So maybe be thinking of things that you would like to ask Jay. But I thought this was pretty cool looking. I don't know. What do you think? But think about that, and then, but right now it's saying that I can't do any live stuff, I think, until like 8:30 tomorrow night, because it had to be 24 hours. I don't know what time would be best for everybody to do that. I'm in Eastern time zone, so it's 10:30 here right now, which means I wouldn't be able to do it till 8:30 Eastern tomorrow night. I don't know if that's too late for some of you. but just let me know what you think. Okay, I'm sorry for all of you that are waiting for me to do the ULTY. Okay, I need to go back. I am going to, let's see, we're going to do ULTY. And my formulas keep disappearing. I did this a minute ago. Oh. Yeah, it's like the formulas are there, but it's not pulling in the data. I did that a while ago, and then I deleted it and just recopied it. Oh, man. And I'm seeing here that the formulas that I created it on this spreadsheet. That my new ones. Sorry to start clicking everywhere. Go back. Yes. Let's see. Alright, because I had to figure out how to remove filter. Now let's see if I can paste. There we go. I am so sorry, guys. Nope. Man. I really do not like sheets that much. If you can't tell. Of course, I'm also doing it on my iPad versus like on a computer or something. Oh, and that was the other thing. I was going to check on my phone. That's why I was waiting for the picture to come across of the screenshot, because I wanted to see how well you can see it. Yeah, you can see it on the phone. You just may have to zoom in a little bit there. I don't know why this thing is doing this. I'll have to get back on my computer to do my paste values. Okay. So, surprise, what's today? The day's the 6th. There were no trades. No trades at all. But made some changes to the spreadsheet. Of course, I may be doing this making work hard for me later because, right, we don't know how the trades are going to work. I also froze these panes earlier, and now they're not frozen, and I don't know how to do that on the iPad. So that's awesome. I'm sorry, I really did a lot of work to make sure that I was ready, and then sometimes Google Sheets just really doesn't like me, and sometimes I just really don't like Google Sheets. So I'm going to freeze panes, and it's not letting me do the ones I want. Sorry, so what I'm doing is I have to I'm pulling it up on my computer. 4. Okay. Okay, so now, well, maybe I need to go out of it. Nope, you know what I just did? Is I did it on the wrong sheet. I'm so sorry, guys. I've been working on this stuff for hours, I promise. It's not like it was just a last minute thing. Let's see if we can make this smaller. Yeah. Nope. Okay, so let's go over some of the changes here. It was requested that I change weekly to short call. So I did work on that today. We'll see as I use the tabs, especially when I go to do the weekly stuff, if I have any more problems. I know I changed them all, and then I had to wait for the trades to come over. Of course, it's not on here, but on the Yieldmax single tickers, single stock ones, I had to wait. When the trades come in, I had to adjust some formulas, but I think it's all good to go now. So where before it said weekly, it is going to say short call now, to try to help with the, any confusion there. And then the other thing I did was what we talked about last night on the left-hand side. Remember, we had some of them that showed negative and red, like that was bad, when it really wasn't. So I have flipped the formula So it'd be one formula if it's a short call and one formula if it's the synthetic. So if we just go, well, yeah, let's just go through the first one here. So 11.39 is how much ALT closed at today. And then our strike price was $12. So we're still good because we're under that strike price. So it's green. I forgot, I also made those green. And it's under it by 61 cents. So we're okay there. Now, the next one line, as we can see, is our synthetic. So we have 11.39, but our strike price is $13. And our synthetics, we want to be over that. But right now we're under it by $1.61. So we really want to bring that up. But in this case, it's a little difficult, and I don't know which way you make more money, because I guess they, opened up the synthetic and then the stock went down. So then they did a short call with a lower price. Which, okay, yeah, we want to worry about our strike in this case because our synthetic is still a ways away. So we're more worried about our immediate, which is in 2 days. I think it's Wednesday. But yeah, but we're looking good on that one. But I just wanted to talk about flipping those formulas. And the other thing I did was I was looking at the weightings, and y'all may or may not care. I just put it over here. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more to make this just a little bit bigger for those on phones. But and then I did the weightings, and the other weightings that was here, we did it by each individual line. And this is going to probably be hell for me. Sorry to swear, but probably be hell for me once all these things change. But since they haven't changed for several days, I just decided to go ahead and do it. But we'll see how it goes in the future. But we know by looking at the top that we have 21 tickers, because that's in cell M2. So just right there, we have 21 tickers total. It does not include our cash, and it does not include the money market account. And if we look here on this first one, it's weighting, it shows like negative 80%. And maybe we just keep the rankings versus the weightings, but and it's negative because it's losing money, right? But it's like 20 out of 21. So it's like one of the worst ones. So I thought that was sort of cool. I just did it at last minute a second ago. I didn't even do it. I thought I was fixing to do the video, and then I was like, oh, let me do this. But you can see which ones are doing better than the others. I know there's lots of conversations about the companies that were used in here. Of course, they're based on volatility, right? Because that's what this one's about. So I know some of these were like purchased right after stocks started going because it did bad or it did good. And it was like all of a sudden we got a new one. And I remember hearing about it that day. GitLab, that was one of them. And it's actually one of our worst ones now too. But anyway, I just want to mention some of those changes. So we had the short call. I changed the formulas on the left. So green is good, red is bad. And then we have consolidated weightings on the right-hand side based on the weightings that they have it. Excuse me, that they provided on their spreadsheet. And then we have it ranking so you can see where it ranks against the others. The other thing that was pointed out to me, and I'm sorry, I don't remember, but I do have a couple of people that really, like every day, they're just trying to help me make this better and giving me all kinds of suggestions, and I still have not implemented all of them. I know I need to go back. I just sort of end up pulling things here and there, but I really need to go back and read some of them. I know some of you do like 4 or 5 paragraphs of stuff. I do the same thing. I just gotta get in there and dissect them and just see where we're at. But hopefully some of these things are making this a little better that I've done, and some of the things based off of y'all's suggestions. Yeah, but anyway, so we're just going to move on now that we've covered all of the changes that I made. Oh, what I was going to point out was that it was mentioned, and I didn't even notice because I'm not paying any attention to these, but this money market account, it has the market value is 1.7 million, and of course it says the shares are 1.7 million, but it says the price is $100 versus $1. And so just you can see that for comparison, like down here at the bottom when we're talking cash, those are the same, and this says $1. So I suspect that that's supposed to be $1, and not 100. But good eye and good catch. Those are the ones I hadn't really, paid that much attention to. So anyway, so we'll move on. If we look at ARM is actually ranking number 9, and it is positive right now. If we look at it, closed at 136.99 right here. And then let's see, our strike price is 150, so we are $13 from that strike price. And then for our synthetics, yeah, I'm not going to go over the synthetics, but you can see here that we're above it, so it's good to go. I'll just mention some of these that look really bad. So, yeah, if we move on to CleanSpark closed today at 16.58. If you recall, our short calls and our synthetics are both $18. So we're looking good on that. We're $1.42 from both of those. It does show, of course, we'd be in the negative some because of the synthetic, but this one is also ranking of number 16 of 21 of the current holdings, of course, because we've had some closed out already. If we move on to Coinbase there, you see, so this is one I would definitely mention synthetic on this one, even though, again, we have more than a month. We're a month and a half away. So we're doing good. Or we have time, sorry. I know I've said that about something else before, and somebody thought they was going to lose it. So, but we're here. We closed at 238.55. I don't know what happened today. I'm too busy training somebody how to do status of funds and all these different actions that we have to do. So I can't train somebody and listen to stuff at the same time. So I'm missing. I don't know what's happening during the days the past week. So yeah, I'm not really hearing a lot, and I only go into the office once a week. So that's usually my listen to as many YouTube videos as I can. But yeah, so we closed there. Our strike price is $2.45, so we are $6.45 for that. We're sort of close, but we're still in the positive, even though if you look at our synthetic here, it shows that did it not save my changes? It did not. Sorry. Yeah, so see how I have that one. I changed these, and for some reason, the changes are not here. It's driving me nuts. It did that earlier, too. So that means some of these are not right. I don't know which ones, though. Stop. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that makes sense now. I saw that, but it didn't really dawn on me. There we go. That makes that one look better. That's why that one's in the positive over there. I have to skip the 4 lines because those formulas are a little different, which sucks because I just spent all this time fixing them, and it's and for what? Because it's not saving my changes all the time. So I do apologize. Now the thing is, I did this on my computer, so it was a lot easier to do. Man, I was really trying to make this a great product for y'all tonight. Let's see what I can do here. I think this was the only one I had to change, was that one, and then everything else would fall in place. Of course, we'll go through it up here. And then if I have to fix it, then I'll just have to make it red like I did last night. And then go to the video. It's what I did earlier. I was like, put this in red, but I couldn't remember why. But the good thing was I made it red, and when I could just go to that spot in the video at that point. Okay, I am sorry about that. I should have caught that on Clean Spark because 1658, it's under it, so that should have been a negative. So, yeah, so let's look right there. Sorry with my crazy formulas. I had to fix the underline. Okay, now we're positive because we are above our synthetic, which is 200, because we're at 238.55. So if we look all the way to the right, we're actually ranking number 3 out of all of these. Of course, if you add up these 3 lines, it's not that much. It's only 36,000, right? But it's positive. So that's a plus. So if we go down to Carvana, again, I apologize that happened in my, all that work that I had done didn't save. But I promise I'm trying to make it better here for everybody. Moving on, Carvana 77.81. Our short call strike price is $91, so we're $13 or 17% away from that. And let's see, we are in the positive for our market value, and this one is ranking number 7, and then we're above our synthetic strike price as well. So if we move on to GigaCloud Technology, GTC, I'm sorry, that's that line not being there is like really irritating me. I would say for some reason, but because I know it's me. So there we go. We closed at 36.64. We have 2 short calls. We have a $40 and a $45, so we're under those. That's good. We're 9 or 23-ish% away from those. And then we are above our synthetics, so we're green on all of those, so we're looking good. So we're positive overall in the market value today, and it ranks number 4. Then if we move on to Groupon, Groupon closed today at 18.18. The short call strike price is $20, so we're 10% away from that. And we, our synthetic is 17, and we're 6% above that, so we're looking good. So if we look over on the right, so our market value is positive, and we are ranking number 8. Now that I look at this and I think of the weightings just because of how they are, I don't know that I like them. Maybe instead of doing the weightings, I just did it because that's what was there. Maybe instead of that, and y'all let me know, but I'm thinking we just, yeah, that's summing the other thing. Let's do this instead. I think that would be better than the way those weightings are, just because of the percentages of some of them down. What about that? Was that number 1 before? I don't even remember. No. Oh, because if I do that, then I would have to do it on all of them. And see, here I go. This is why I said before, my spreadsheets, I don't really like doing, figuring out how I want to do things in front of other people, because some people they don't like the inner workings of spreadsheets. Plus, I'm wasting your time. I'm sorry. I should have thought through this more. I should have just waited until the next day. Sorry, this won't take me but a few more seconds. But then this makes more sense to me than those percentages. I was just looking at that other column. The reason it happened is because I was fixing to hide it. And I was like, well, why don't we just do this instead? And if I have to do it in all of them in order for the rankings to be right. Yeah, I do believe that's a lot better, of course. Then I would need to change this. I guess I could just say total value, because that other one they said market value, but that's for each line. You let me know what you think there, but no, I put a space. It doesn't matter. Okay. So just to scroll up those few at the top, you can see those dollar amounts there. All right. So GigaCloud. No, we were on Groupon. Yeah, but that GigaCloud has 55,000, a ranking of 2. It's pretty good. Yep, and that's not right. Because it's a for sale. So over here, so those, of course, I probably should have just done a sum, but it looks like when I copied these formulas, I need to, because I didn't do like a sum, I need to add that fourth one in there. There we go. I didn't think that was number 2 a second ago. We just have to do it on the 4 one. So this is what I was talking about was, yeah, I'm doing in this second, but when all these things change, this is a lot of manual manipulation. But I don't know. Right now, it's just like this, so this is the way I have this. Again, this thing could be changing every day. I'm just, trying to see, working with what we got right now, and then if we need to change it later, we can. It's going to be an ever-changing process, at least until we can, totally get, an idea of how these are going to look every day, which appears to be totally weird. All right. We will move on to GitLab. So GitLab closed at 61.42. Our strike price for a short call is 80, so we're 30% away from that, so that's really good. It looks like it would only cost us 3 cents to close that one out today, if we wanted to. Of course, they may just let them expire versus closing them out, so they don't have to pay those costs and fees. And then as far as the synthetic goes, we have a negative number there, and that's because our strike price is $70, and we are below that strike price by $8.58. So if you look over here, I'm sorry, I know I keep explaining things, but I never know what people watched, what videos. But if you see over here, because it's below it, that synthetic would cost $35,000 to close. So it's bringing us all the way down, and it's actually number 19, so it's near the bottom. Then we have LabU there, which is the biotech company. I'm sorry, not company, ETF. It was the biotech ETF. So it closed at 158.94. Our strike price for a short call is at 178, and we are 12% away from that. So that's looking decent. But for our synthetic, our strike price is 165, and we are under that synthetic by $6.06. So we need that to come up some, but we got a ways to go. But right now it's ranking 14 with a market value of negative 9,000. If we move on to Mara, Mara closed at $22.62. The strike price is $28, so we're 24% from that. Of course, this has to deal with Bitcoin, so it can go parabolic. But let's say 11 cents if we want to close. Still looking good. If we go on to the synthetic, its strike price is $28, and we're under it by $5.38. So I didn't catch it till now, but the short call, and the synthetic are both $28 there, or all $28. But the total value is negative 32K, and it's ranking 18. And I did try to sort this in here by ranking when I did it earlier, but yeah, it won't sort anything that's got merged cells in Google Sheets. So, because I thought that would be cool to be able to review them. And so the only way to put them in order, I guess, would be to maybe unmerge it. Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm not even going to think about that. Okay, we're going to move on. I'll get down these holes. We're going to move on to the next one, which is a pharmaceutical company. Yeah, pharmaceutical. And so this one does not expire this week. Instead, it expires next week. So we got a strike price of $257.38. No, we have the close price of $257.38. Our strike price is $270. We are 5% away from that, and then we are 3% over our synthetic strike price, which is $250 there. But overall, the market value is negative 22K, and it ranks 17. If we move on to MSOS, which is a cannabis ETF, we have two short calls there. We have one that will expire this Friday and one next Friday. So the one for this week is $10. We closed at $7.96, so we're 25% away from that one. And then next week we have a $9.50 strike price, and we're about 19% from that one. And then if we look at our synthetics, the synthetic strike price is $8, and we're slightly under it by 4 cents there. But overall, the market value on this so far is about a little over 6,000, and it's ranking number 13. And then we have MicroStrategy. Interesting that it's ranking number 2. And it closed, man, I think it was just like 1,050 yesterday. I was even talking about, I think it was yesterday, I was even talking about buying it at 10.35 or 10.38, but I was scared when I looked at the chart and saw just a few months ago it was only 100 and something. I'm not that brave for that. But it closed at 12.46, so we do have a strike price of, for one contract, of 1,140, so we're over that by $106. So you can see on the right, it would have cost us $13,000 to close that out today if we needed to or wanted to. And then we have another one with a strike price of $14.50. We're 16% away from that, but we could do that in one day, as we've seen with this one. But it's not looking too bad right now. We're $200 away with 2 days left. So we'll see how that plays out. As far as our synthetic goes, we're making some money on that because our strike price is $9.90, and we are above that by $250. So overall, the total value for this one is $37,000 and it's ranks 2 ranking. So we'll go on down. So we have Nano Imaging, and it closed today at 10.52. The short call will expire next week with a strike price of $12.50, and we are a couple of dollars from that. And then we have our synthetic at 10, and we're slightly above that by 5%. Of course, this is at the end of the day. We actually looked really good on these. Again, I've talked before, I don't know at what point of day these market values are, but this is showing a negative 6,000, though we're looking good on the left. And I don't know. Again, I'm not an options person. I'm learning this as I go, and doing these videos is holding me accountable to try to learn stuff, right? And go through these daily. But yeah, so like if I'm just saying, oh, we're green over here, everything looks great, I don't understand where we're all negative. And it could be just the options thing, and because, if you're going to pay to close it out, or it's just because maybe this was earlier in the day, the market value, because we don't know what time of the day that market value is. And at that time, it was negative 6,000 based on the prices. So I don't really know. But anyway, this ranks number 12. So then we have Riot, another Bitcoin related stock. It closed at 12.12 today. Its strike price is $15.50. So we're under that by 28%. But then we have our synthetic at $14. And we're under that by 15%. So it would cost us like $20,000 to close out our synthetic since we are below our strike price. So our total value is negative 20K, and it ranks number 15. So then we go to Root, and that was a new one that was added the other day. And yeah, that's right, I did the same thing. It's some kind of insurance company. But it closed at 44.12. The strike price is 45, so we're 2% away from that. But this one doesn't expire until next week. Sorry, I was going to scroll that up for you. And then we have the synthetics at 40, and we're above them by over 9%. So those look good, but it does show that our total value is negative 4K, and it ranks 11 based on the total value. So if we go to C, it's actually the ranking number 1 out of all 21. This is the best earner. And it's based on the synthetic. Because if we look up there, our short calls, the strike prices are 54 and 58, but C closed. Sorry, it closed at 59.22. So we're over both of those strike prices. One of them by, you see, 9%, another by 2%. So it cost us over $19,000 to close those out because we're over those prices. But because on our strike price there, on our synthetic, the strike price is 48, we're 20% above that. Therefore, we're making money on that one. And you can see that over there. For roughly 67,000, something like that. But for the total of the short calls and synthetic values, that total value is 47,000, making this one the best set out of all of it. I'm not sure what I should call it. I guess just the best stock out of all of them. Let's see. Okay, so we'll go on to SMCI. So this is another one that it's making money off the synthetic and not necessarily the short call, because our strike price is $940, but we're $1,124. We're 17%, or it's almost, well, it's over 16%, $185. So you see, we'd have to pay $37,000 to close that out if we wanted. And then for the synthetics, the strike price is $830, but because we're so far above it, which is $300, we would make about $60,000 to close it. But we have to offset the cost of the short call. So right now the total value shows at $22.5 thousand, and it would rank number 5, or it does rank number 5. And then we have SoundHound. SoundHound closed at 504 today. The strike price is $6.50, and so we're still 30% away from that, which is like $1.50. So we have our short call $5, and we're over that by 4 cents. But it shows that it will cost us $1,000 to close this out, and it ranks number 10. And moving on to Vikings. Man, is that the therapeutic one? I know y'all probably don't care, but Viking Therapeutics, another biotech company. So it closed at 91.18, and our strike price is 103. So we're 13% from that. And then we have our synthetic of 85, and we're above it by 7%. So looking good there, which makes it have a total value of 15,000 as of today, and it ranked number 6. Okay. Thank you guys for watching this, and yeah, just a reminder, like the videos if you like these, because like I said, I'm gonna make the choice, if I have to make the choice on one or the other, to be based off of those likes. And also, surprisingly enough, that I thought about showing y'all like the back door, the YouTube studio, where it shows you all the analytics, but I don't know that anybody else cares how all that stuff looks. But it tells me that 51% of the people that watch my videos do not subscribe. So I found that interesting. And most of the people that do not, only about 15% of the people that watch the videos hit the like button. So, but anyway, I'm going to get off of here because now I have to turn around and I am going to do the Yieldmax single stock video for y'all. If you're not going to watch that one, y'all have a good day. Oh, and I didn't mention, well, I guess I could mention on the other one, but hopefully y'all were able to get you some good buys this morning with the dip from the for the ex-dividend date for Yieldmax. But yeah, I'll mention that in my other video. But all right, Y'all have a good night. Bye.